I think most men is more empathetic relationship wise than women, because women will break your heart and won't give no fucks.
What?
My personal experience. If you deal with women, they'll just be like on to the next. I mean, after the relationship, they look at old girl with who's dude in the NBA. She's online talking about putting out his sex tapes, trying to get him traded from the team, trying to ruin his whole life basically over her emotions, where he's just like kicking back and just like, life goes on type shit. He's more empathetic to her personal life than her. She's trying to ruin this man's life. And I just seen that time and time again. I've dealt with that personally myself time and time again. Even if the relationship ends on bad terms, I'm just like, you know what? It's cool, no hard feelings. But she going out her way to try to ruin your fucking life, like no empathy at all. So I would argue women are the actual narcissists, not men.
Again, we're talking about narcissists. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Here's the clip.
If you ever notice there's a spike in women right now talking about, oh, I was dealing with a narcissist. That's the key word.
Man, they love that word.
But you know where that word came from. Most narcissists is just dudes, bro, who couldn't get women before they had paper. Mm-hmm. Now they get paper and they don't have nothing else to offer, so they control the women with money. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, I can't really let you depend on my intellect. Mm-hmm. We can't have no real good conversation. I can't blow your back out, this and that. So a lot of them, bro, they in a position to where it's like, that's all they got. So they insecure, and then they try to lock her down because they know a dude who come in and finesse her, you know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. And so, that's how it is. And so they insecure, where what they'll do is they'll take the woman, promise her this, love bomb her to death, so she thinking she in a dream relationship, right? And then all of a sudden, hey, she done cut her friends off, done cut her family off, then he done move her out of her apartment and start taking care of her. Full control. Now she ain't got no friends, no family, everybody thinks she done changed, and then boom. Because he can't get no other women unless he leave with bread, unless he leave with paper. So now, first thing they do when he cut her off, he a narcissist trying to control me. But as long as he was spending that paper, you liked it. As long as you're not really a narcissist until you done cut the person off you. But it's just a way that, those kind of controlling dudes, though, most of them just couldn't get women before they had bread.
I want to start off by asking some of the men on the panel, have any woman ever came to you and said you have narcissistic behavior?
Every single one.
Every last one of them.
Every single one. No doubt.
Usually during a breakup, they say such things. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't expect that many responses from you guys, but I guess it is common. But let's go ahead and talk about it, man. He described, I guess, a different way. I never looked at it, but what are you guys' thoughts about it? I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Mr. Viiral, as you count with that mic.
I would argue that women are actually the narcissistic ones. I don't think they really know the definition of the word. It's just like, the relationship didn't go how I wanted, so he's a narcissist. It's his fault. But if you look up the actual definition of the word, women actually fit the definition 10 times more than 100 times more than men do. A need for attention and admiration. I mean, who needs that more than women? You just look down social media all day long. They fishing for attention and admiration. Often having trouble relationships. Who's having more trouble relationships than women these days? I mean, this is how the whole red pill even started, because women can't keep a steady relationship with men, and a high entitled sense of self. You ask most women to rate themselves, they'll overrate themselves. You ask more guys to rate themselves, they'll underrate themselves. So we know who has the high sense of entitlement there, and the lack of empathy for others. I mean, I think most men is more empathetic relationship wise than women, because women will break your heart and won't give no fucks.
What?
My personal experience. If you deal with women, they'll just be like on to the next. I mean, after the relationship, they look at old girl with who's dude in the NBA. She's online talking about putting out his sex tapes, trying to get him traded from the team, trying to ruin his whole life basically over her emotions, where he's just like kicking back and just like, life goes on type shit. He's more empathetic to her personal life than her. She's trying to ruin this man's life. And I just seen that time and time again. I've dealt with that personally myself time and time again. Even if the relationship ends on bad terms, I'm just like, you know what? It's cool, no hard feelings. But she going out her way to try to ruin your fucking life, like no empathy at all. So I would argue women are the actual narcissists, not men, personally.
Mr. Viiral, it's like you had a lot of trauma there, brother.
Nah, no trauma. I'm just, it's just reality. I just analyze reality. Ain't no trauma. I'm good over here. Trust me.
Okay. All right. If you ever need a therapist, let me know. I gotta.
Hey, therapy is weights, man. Lift weights, work out.
Okay, then. All right. Go ahead, Lady Di. What are your thoughts about it?
You said therapy. You said just lift weights and work out. Why we can't fix the issue? How you gonna fix the issues?
Well, for men, we fix issues differently than women. I mean, sitting on the couch and talking to a stranger doesn't fix issues for men. We don't operate the same. Our mentality isn't the same. We're not wired the same. We don't solve our problems that way.
So what is lifting weights gonna do?
I mean, if you lift weights, you would know it builds character. It's a stress reliever. I mean, just working out in general will help you build your mental capacity to a whole nother level as far as just the fitness side goes. And as far as men dealing with certain problems, we're not talkers. We're action based. So, excuse me, we have to do things to get over things. Like just going to talk to a therapist about my emotions does zero for me. But me going out and accomplishing goals and working in my purpose, that will boost me up to where I need to be. Because me just talking on the couch, it's like, all right, cool. I talked about these problems. These problems are still here. See, women are emotion based. So when you guys talk to therapists, it's like stroking your emotion. This does damn near everything that you guys need. But for us, talking does nothing.
So what happens when you have to communicate? When you have to go back to your relationship and communicate? Then what happens?
I mean,
are you able to have a conversation, or you just go back once you get frustrated again, go back to go lift weights?
Oh, no. This depends on the problem. Now, I'm not saying as an adult, don't communicate. You should absolutely be able to communicate. But where things go wrong is men and women communicate differently, and people have a problem understanding how to communicate to the opposite sex, especially women. It's like, okay, I think this way, and I feel like you should think this way. And if you're not communicating in a way that's how can I put this? Effective to my emotions, like that my emotions accept, I won't accept the communication. Oh, you don't know how to communicate because you ain't talking to the way my emotions likes it. Even though he could be communicating very effectively, straight to the point. Women are more emotion based and men is more logic based. So when he's speaking with logic, your emotion is like, I don't want to hear that shit. Talk to my feeling.
So what you just described just now was one trait of a narcissist female. The last part, because it's kind of like women who just think of themselves only, and it's not anything about the other party. And that's one thing, you know, that we as women need to change. I know a lot of us probably had that trait or still have it, but that's not how you conduct yourself in a relationship going into a marriage. That's how you end a relationship. And the people that you're around, and especially your man, is not going to respect you. So as long as, you know, you have your feelings, I'm not saying you got to dismiss them, but you have to make sure that they make sense. It's not something that is just a strong emotion of just you being sad. You know, you got to be able to talk and ask or figure out how to make it better. Sometimes things are just misunderstood. Somebody did something, don't mean it was intentional, but you think it's intentional because that person, quote unquote, did it. No, you have to have a conversation and ask, well, why did you do this? What was your thoughts? You know, and have the person explain themselves. And then when you're listening, make sure you listen to understand. A lot of us we hearing it, but you ain't listening. You just hear somebody going like this, but you not hearing nothing that they're saying. So then, of course, your relationship is going to be messed up because you didn't hear the key words that the person is trying to tell you. So these type of traits are narcissist behavior. I don't know why it's always about a man when I hear this term. Now, there are men that can act like that. I don't think it's a large percentage. I don't see too many men just like, oh, it's all about me, unless they just flashing their money all day. You know, there's men that are flashy. And I think some of those type of guys can be narcissists depending on how they flashing their money. But I think it is more of a female trait from what I can see. So I agree to Viiral.